3 exercises you're not doing with the power rack. Let's spice it up. What's going on, guys? Coach Frank here at the Critical Lens Compound, and in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the 3 power rack exercises that you are probably not doing that is hindering your gains, keeping you from making the progress, and ultimately preventing you from building the body that you deserve to have. Yes, we're talking about the power rack, guys. So we've already got our power rack set up, whether we're training at home or we train at a commercial gym that has a power rack. But all we're doing is we're doing squats and overhead presses, so we're not getting the most out of it. So I want to give you guys a couple exercises today that is going to fully utilize all the features and benefits of this power rack, but is going to enable you to train in a way that you're probably not doing right now, and is going to help you unlock some new gains in your body and in your growth. So take you through a leg exercise to improve both your leg mass, the size of your legs, and actually in the power of your squat. Then I'm going to walk you through a shoulder exercise, which is going to help you build those big, round, massive capped delts. And then thirdly, we're going to give you a variation of a row that's not only going to blow up the middle of your back, your spinal erectors, but is actually going to help you use the row to fully engage and contract your lats. So take you guys through the first exercise here. So we're going to talk about a pin squat, and all this is this is a partial squat with a slight pause in it, that we're going to utilize the safety features of the pins here right within the rack. So I already got my bar set up, so I'm going to step it out here, guys, and this is not for showing my strength out, guys, so we're just using a little bit of weight here for demonstration. But obviously when you're doing this, you want to be doing this with a load and weight that is challenging. So this would be a movement that would be to work on the top part of your squat. Maybe you have some difficulties in locking out at the top. Maybe you're really weak there at the top. Maybe you're trying to work on the explosive. Maybe you're a jump athlete. Maybe you're somebody that's trying to improve his vertical lead. This is a great exercise for all of those features, but it's also a great exercise just to work on the squat mechanics. So we're gonna stand here in our rack, guys, with nice neutral stance, just where we would normally squat. We're gonna here come down, slight pause at the pins, explode up at the top. So the top portion of this movement is gonna be incredibly explosive, guys. We don't wanna let go of the bar here, so we don't wanna take tension off our legs. So when we're here, we're still locked and fully engaged. We're just not driving the bar up. Last one here, guys. Drive up and explode to the top. So guys, if you're looking to grow your squats, you're looking to get more power, you're looking to increase your vertical, the pin squats utilizing the power rack is going to be one of the best movements that you can do to massively blow up those legs. Let's get into the second one. All right, so exercise 2, utilizing this power rack, is going to get us inside of the rack. And for some of you, you may be able to do this standing. I got to do it kneeling just because of my height and kind of where I'm going to cap out at the top of the rack here. But it's going to be a movement for our shoulders, working all heads of the delt, so rear, side, but really focusing on the front delt. So it's called a rack press, or scrape the rack press. So we're going to do either kneeling, seated, or standing. You're gonna do what would be a military style shoulder press. So vertically pressing the bar above your head, but we're gonna utilize the rack. So as we press up, we're actually going to get as close to this rack as possible and think about pressing into the rack, scraping the rack on the way up to the top. So you really are forced to activate the front delts because that's what's driving it forward, and then you're gonna get the resistance back, and then your whole goal is to get it up. So it's really like doing a rack inside of a Smith machine because you're fixed in a position, but the harder you press against the rack, the more benefit you're getting out of this exercise. So don't focus too much on how much weight am I pressing up. Think about how hard can I press the bar into the rack as I scrape it up. So I'm gonna grab the bar here, and once again, guys, I'm just using a weight here for demonstration purposes. I got a couple 10s on the rack. So got what would be my feet or knees in a secured position, shoulder width apart. My chin is just behind the bar here, and then before I begin to press up, I'm gonna first press into the rack. So I'm now activated into the rack, and I'm gonna scrape up on the way down. Think about exploding up on the way down, or explode up on the way up, and then control it on the way down. Guys, you're gonna feel this in your shoulders after like just three or four reps. But I can tell you, when I first started introducing this into my training back in 2013, 2014, the strength, the growth, the size of my delts rapidly began to grow. So second movement here, guys, utilizing this power rack is going to be the shoulder, scrape the rack, press. Let's get into number 3. All right, guys, so third and final movement here is going to be a rack row, or just like we had the scrape the rack press, this is gonna be the variation of a row utilizing that scrape the rack feature. So as you would normally step into, you know, whether it's an overhand or underhand row, you're gonna get a nice neutral position with your feet here. Now the goal, just like we had with our shoulders, is we wanted to press into the rack. So our goal with this bar is before we row up, we wanna pull the bar into the rack behind us. So it's really gonna have to activate your lats, and as you row up, you're also thinking about rowing behind you. So what I like about this is a lot of times when you do a barbell row or dumbbell row, you're really looking to focus on either mid-back rowing or your lats. So if you're doing a barbell row, a lot of your middle back, a lot of your spinal erectors, a lot of your rhomboids involved. We've shot a lot of videos, guys, here on this channel about how to utilize your lats in a dumbbell row. My opinion, this is the greatest variation of a row that's gonna fully maximize both the mid-back development, but also get your lats involved, because as you row back, that's what's contracting and that's what's engaging the lats in the movement. So take you guys through a few reps here. So pick the bar up and then step back into the rack, just like we did with the scrape the rack press. We're gonna pull back first, and as we're coming up, we're pulling it against the rack. Guys, and like I said, with these movements, because it's the first time doing it, your body is gonna be tapped and trained in a way that you haven't normally done it. Lower the weight. Nobody cares about how much you can rack row or how much you can rack press. The goal with these exercises is muscle development, strength development. So put the egos aside, guys. But if I'm telling you, if you begin to do these 3 movements, the pin squats, the rack press, and the rack row, your growth, your progress, your body will transform almost overnight. But we also must remember, guys, that it's not just what we do in the gym that is playing a role in our development. It's our hormones, it's our nutrition, it's our lifestyle factors. So what we have, guys, is we have a free report talking about the 7 worst testosterone killers. Guys, it's shocking when you look at the numbers of hormones and where test levels are at for young men these days. I think I read a report, the average 30-year-old today has the hormones and testosterone levels of a man in his 60s just 40 years ago. That's a shocking number, guys. So we want to do everything we can within our power to make sure we're training hard, training aggressively, and also avoiding the things that are hindering us. So we wrote a free report, guys, called the 7 worst testosterone killers. Click that first link down there in the pinned comment below. Put your email address, guys. We'll send a report over to you right away. But through exercises, guys, begin to implement them into your training, take your body to the next level. Coach Frank, the Compound, we love you. We'll see you in the next one.